Okay, hello and welcome to another video by George's Shed, and today we're going to be disassembling a recording box. Okay, so this is a Humax box, so it's just your sort of standard TV recording box thing, and we're going to take it to bits because it's broken. So I've already undone the screws in the top, so we can just remove that, and there we go. That is the inside of a recording box. Okay, so first of all we're going to be looking at the mains power supply. So obviously you've got your plug, so this comes into this section of circuit board here, which is the power supply, which will deliver various types of voltage to the main circuit board, and that's why we've got all these different wires. Each of those wires will be different voltage, probably going to be anything from 3.3 volts to 12 volts or even 24 volts in some things. So first of all we're going to remove the power cable, so that comes out of there and then unplugs from the main switch, and that's the plug. Okay, so now we're going to remove the switch, this, and unplug that from the power supply. So there we have a nice little switch that'll be good to use in electronic projects. And then we can also unplug this short extension that goes from the switch to the power board. Okay, so now I'm going to undo and then we can unplug it from the main board. One of the wires is caught. There we go. Okay, so that's the power supply unit. So if we just quickly look basically what's on it, so we've got mains coming in here through some capacitors, and then a coil. And then we've got a bridge rectifier there, which turns the AC into DC. And then we've got this massive capacitor that we're just going to shut out to make sure it didn't give me a shock. And this is a 120 microfarad 450 volt capacitor, so that would give you quite a shock. And then we've got a voltage regulator here with a massive heatsink on it. And then we've obviously got we've got a transformer and what looks like another voltage regulator, and then some more capacitors. I'm no expert on power supplies, but yeah, so basically what's happening is the power's coming in, it's going through some smoothing capacitors, through a bridge rectifier, big capacitor, then the transformer, which will step down the voltage to basically all the different voltages, and then it'll go through some voltage regulators and then some more capacitors and stuff like that. So there, that's one component done. Okay, so now we have the fan. So just gonna unscrew these 4 screws. And out comes the fan. So now we'll just unplug that from the board and we'll have a look at what fan this is. So this is a 12 volt fan, and it will run at 50 milliamps, which is not very much, but I suppose it is a very small fan. So very nice. Okay, so now we're going to look at the hard drive. So, well, looks like this is mounted to another plate, which is then mounted to the frame. So we'll just undo all these screws. There we go. Out comes the hard drive, and then we'll just unplug it from the main board. And then there we go. So we'll just remove that, and there we go. There we have a hard drive. So this is a Seagate drive, and it has a capacity of 160 gigabytes and runs on both 5 volts and 12 volts. So if you wanted to, you could put this into your computer and it would work just fine. So that's quite useful. Okay, so we'll just remove this wire coming from the hard drive. So we've obviously got this red cable here is the SATA cable, and then this other cable is power. Okay, so now we'll remove this board. Okay, so here we have a board, and it looks like this is where the aerial comes into and out, and I don't really know what this does. By the looks of it, it just converts the signal or something like that. I'm not an expert on these. Okay, so here we have the main motherboard, which is where all the magic happens, I suppose you could say. So you have your 2 SCART outputs to your TV, and then not much to really say on here. You've obviously got quite a few chips. That looks like the main processor, and then various other chips. You've got your hard drive connection, power in there, and then the connection to the aerial, and then you've got various capacitors on that. Okay, so now it's starting to look quite bare, so now we're going to have to disassemble the front. So let's see how this thing comes apart. So there we go, there's the front panel, and this is the main chassis, I suppose you could call it. So that's obviously where everything mounts to. Okay, so now we'll have a look at this front panel. Okay, so this looks like it's held in with some screws. Okay, so this is the front panel, and yeah, so here we have all the sort of main buttons which press all of these little tactile switches. On the front we have the infrared receiver, which is what takes the signal from the remote, and then we have 5 LEDs which say here standby, TV, radio, record, and the last one is not named. So yeah, we can salvage them for another project. And what's also interesting is that on this board there's lots of sort of spaces for other components. So you can see there we have a space there for what looks like another infrared receiver. We have space here for a LED display, so for like a clock or something like that, and then we've got a big space for another chip, because generally it's cheaper for manufacturers to just make one board and then put it in loads of different things than it is to design a specialist board for each thing. And then also we've got a little battery over here and a crystal, another chip there, which looks like it could be some sort of clock or something like that.